Welcome to another episode of the S.E.M podcast. Zach Hewlett and Jack Bryce here again. Today we're joined by our good friend Roman Bredlow. Welcome, Roman.
Well, thanks for having me.
Where are you calling from today?
I'm calling from Berlin, Germany.
All right. I think, nope, you're not our first from Germany, right, Zach?
Nope, he's not.
Who did you have on before?
We've talked to Elder Megner, and we had Elder Tobias Lukes on the schedule, but his wife had a baby recently. So, but you are the second from Germany. So,
And there were two more. I think Elder Lehman, my first companion, and what's his name? Elder. Oh, there was one other guy from Germany too. Forgot his name.
I'm sure it'll come back to you as we're talking. I'm certain of it.
Yep. So if you've listened before, our format would talk about how you ended up on a mission, how you ended up in Scotland, and then we'll skip over the actual mission. We'll talk about what you've been up to since you've been home. Then we'll go back and reminisce. So if you want to start us out with how you ended up as missionary in Scotland.
All right, how did I end up in Scotland? So I didn't grow up in a church. I joined the church when I was 19, and I've always wanted to go serve a mission. I thought it was, I got to know the church when I lived in the States with the family, with the Payne family. They had 6 kids, and they all went on missions. And so I've kind of heard about it, but I've always been wanting to go on a mission as after I joined the church. So I was a ward missionary for a while before and turned in my papers as soon as I graduated high school. I graduated a little late because due to my exchange year in the States, I was a year behind because I had to repeat the year because it didn't count. And then we had 13 years of high school, so I ended up going. I think I was 20 by the time I went on my mission. I was like 20 and a half. I turned my papers, and got this call to Scotland, and I've always wanted to go. I studied the scriptures and prepared myself, went to the mission prep class, and all the kids all the other YSA that I hung out with at the Institute, like we all kind of were like a group, 4 or 5 of us maybe at the same time, and we all just decided to go together and left pretty much at the same time frame.
Wow, that's really cool.
All right.
So
what was the timing of that? When did you get your call? When did you go?
So I handed in my papers. I think it was like the spring 2003, and I thought it was going to go in the summer, like right after school was out. But then it got delayed, and I got the message that it's going to be a little later. And I got my call for 1st of October. So I reported to the MTC October 1st, 2003.
Wow.
Okay. Now I remember when I didn't really think I was going to go to Scotland. Like I've been really wanting to go to somewhere like really exotic. Like I want to go to Chile or somewhere in South America and we learn Spanish, or maybe some island. But my mom always she's like, you're not going to go to Chile. Like I really don't want you to go anywhere very far away because it's all like way too dangerous and far. So when I got my mission call, I was like, "Oh, I'm going to Scotland," and I was like, "This is probably the most remote place I could have imagined going to in Europe." And so for me, it was like a great compromise. It was close enough for my parents so they felt comfortable, and for me, it was remote enough that it felt like a good mission. I think it would have been weird for me to just go to Frankfurt mission or Austria mission.
Yeah, that's good. Answered your prayers and your mom's.
Yeah, definitely.
Good deal. All right, well, let's skip ahead. What have you been up to since October 2005?
Oh man, it's like it's been so long. So I got back home and I went to college immediately. I studied business, and when I went back, I had a girlfriend back then, but we broke up, and then I went to the States for a study abroad, for like first an internship and a study abroad, where I met my wife at Institute.
Wow.
So I went to Texas, and I met my wife in 2006, and then we got married 2007. I actually moved over to the States in 2007 and studied there at the university. So lived there for a few years, and then we went over here. I think we were here Christmas. I think 2008, if I remember correctly. And we went to the temple, and my wife and I here in Germany. And the temple president's like, I need to talk to you guys. Like, what are you up to? Like, yeah, well, we live in the US. And he's like, I think you really have to move back to Germany. I think we need you here. And
Wow.
so my wife and I were thinking, my family lived here. My dad, he was pretty old already at the time. So we thought, maybe it'd be good to be back here in Germany, spend time with the family, and give my dad a chance to see the kids grow up. And so we decided to move back to Germany. So it was 2009, right after college. And then just been working since. I've been working in, I studied business, and I got a job in finance. I've been working different renewable energy companies over the years. And now I'm a CFO in a renewable energy company here in Berlin.
Great.
That's cool.
And how many children do you have?
So I got 3 beautiful children. One daughter that is who's 13, and another daughter who just turned 11 in December, and a son who's about to turn 8. So
Okay.
they keep us pretty busy.
Yeah,
I bet.
that's awesome.
Especially fending off the boys for your girls that are getting to that age.
Oh man.
Oh yes, that's definitely starting to be an issue.
Oh gosh.
But they're great. They're turning out really good. So we're very happy with them.
I want to ask you the question. So you met your wife in the States. Did she have German speaking skills before you guys moved there, or did she have to learn?
Oh, she did have to learn it. She took a German class, like an online German class so before we moved. But of course, it's like that's not a lot of preparation. So it wasn't easy in the beginning, but she did well. She's been taking classes when we moved here, and after a few years, she taught Sunday school, and so she got along quite well. But it took a while. It took a while to pick it up.
Wow, good for her.
Yeah, man. All right, so let's go back now. You can start with the MTC, Scotland, wherever you want. Let us know, where you served, who your companions were, anything you want to talk about.
All right. So MTC. I remember I went to an MTC. That was October 1st, 1st of October, and my MTC companion was Elder Hill. So I remember getting there, and I was all excited to get to the mission home, to the MTC and do the training. But at first I think I had a bit of a hard time getting there, because I think I expected all these missionaries, and I was a convert, so I joined the church, and I kind of expected everyone to be these super awesome missionaries and like way smarter and better at everything than I am. And then you get there and you realize, actually,
And you got Elder Hill.
he was actually.
I'm just kidding. I served with him too. He was my companion for
he
6
was?
weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Love you, Mike.
Well,
Yeah, we love you, Michael. Goodness, that was too funny.
but yeah, that was. Well, I realized I think we were just a bunch of kids who all of a sudden had suits on and a tie and a name tag, and I think it took a while for us to transform into what we're supposed to be. But I think we had overall we had a fun time. I think it was a struggle. I've been thinking back with MTC times, and actually I found this little notebook that I had with me, and I was just like flipping through it earlier before the interview. And I realized I wrote down a couple of these MTC quotes that we took. So my group, I had a good group. I had Elder McAndrews, Elder Vertigam, Elder Stout. I think Elder Sprague, Elder Leonard Livingston, Elder Newman. So we had a good
Big
group.
Yeah, you did.
And I think there's a few of those you still need to bring on.
Yep.
There is. It's true.
But I have a fun, like, I think, did you have Elder Stout already?
Not yet.
We haven't yet. I think his wife just had a baby. So in the future, for sure.
I'm calling him out because I'm going to read a quote from him that he did. It's like, I think my kids are going to love this one. Like, we asked we asked Elder Stout, how do you spell relief? And he's like, you spell it F-U-R-T. We're like, what? So Elder Stout, there was one for you.
Jeez.
But I think he's gonna hate me after this one. But we had a few funny experiences in the MTC. Oh man, Elder Vertigam. Did you guys have Elder Vertigam on?
We have contacted him and his wife, and
Oh yes, because he
they're
got married to one of his sisters.
they are listening with much intent, and we will certainly have them on in the future.
I remember Elder Vertigam. He was a funny guy. I remember I wrote down one of his quotes, where he told us that his hands were that he was registered as a lethal weapon in Belgium. So he made us laugh. But man, we had a fun time. One funny story with Elder Hill. The quote I wrote down is, "My toast is on fire," and I don't think he told that story when he was on. I listened to it, but we were in MTC, and you know, remember this? They had this long line of like this toast grill machine where you put your toast on and like it like roll down this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. And we were like, this toast is never toasted enough. So we tried to no, it was too toasted. It was too toasted, and he didn't like that. He wanted to be like lighter toast. We're like, you know, let's turn down this dial a little bit. Let's turn on the dial so it doesn't toast it as much. And then after a while, we realized that we go to the other side, and we realized, dude, I think the dial didn't like make it toast less. I think it slowed down the toaster thing, and it went like so slow that all of a sudden we just like looked at it, and like this big flame came up out of this toasting thing. This toast was on fire. And like just the next thing, the smoke alarm went off in the whole MTC, and I think we all had to go outside, and it was like, who set the toaster on fire? And we're like, I don't know who did that.
That's so funny.
That's my memory with Elder Hill.
My toast on fire.
But yeah,
That's
we had a good time. I still somewhere have a picture of Elder Sprague where we did like some Matrix style jumps in the hallway.
That sounds like Elder Sprague.
Yeah, he was a funny guy. But yeah. So there was MTC. So we left the MTC and went to the mission home. And my first companion was Elder Lehman. So the two Germans matching up. I bet President Vriens must have thought, well, I think putting those two Germans together they must work well together. So I went, and my first mission area was also quite remote. I went to the Shetlands, so Shetland Isles, first area.
Wow.
So that was definitely something special. I remember we had to take the train up to, I think, Aberdeen. Is that where the ferry went? Yeah, I think we went to Aberdeen.
Yep.
And we took this it was like the 8-hour ferry ride, something like that. It was like this huge long ferry ride up to the Shetlands. And I was like, oh, this is quite nice. So we were up we went on the ferry and we watched, I think, Finding Nemo. They had like this big movie theater on this massive ferry. So that was our trip up to the Shetlands. But Elder Lehman, we had a good time. I think we got along okay. I think I gave him a bit of a hard time though as his greenie. But yeah, we got along okay. And he trained me well. So I remember though a few months after I trained my first greenie, I met him at his own conference, and I was like, dude, now that I've trained, I realized how hard it was have been to train me, and I'm really sorry for the hard time I gave you. But I think we got along well. I mean, Shetlands was a special place. I don't know. Have any of you guys served in Shetlands? Shetland. It was like so we had this really, really small apartment. It was like so small. We had bunk beds, and the couch was so close. The couch was like one arm length away from the refrigerator, so you could sit on a couch, study, and just grab yourself something to drink from the refrigerator. That was our apartment.
Sounds like a dorm room.
It was. It totally was. But man, Shetlands, it was beautiful though. On the other hand, like you'd go outside and the road in front of the apartment was like right went along the beach. Like, across the street was the local hall from was like this club hall with those people at like parties once in a while. That was a bit annoying, but most of the time it was a beautiful area. Like you have like seals sitting right there on the beach.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy though. We were there in the winter, and the sun would come up at 10 o'clock in the morning, and come down at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So man, it was dark though for most of the time. But a beautiful, beautiful place, and had these wide open spaces. Like we drove with the car, and there these some areas that we call like the land of desolation, because you'd stand there and you could like turn in any direction, and all you would see is just like hills, empty hills. There was no trees at all. It was just like scrubs in the hills and no people, and just sheep. There was like some of these areas to shed. So, but it was beautiful though. So I had Elder Lehman for the first 6 weeks. So he was my trainer, and then I had my first special experience up in the Shetland. So when Elder Lehman left, he was called, and I think he was going to train again. So he had to leave one day early. And in the Shetlands, it was just us. It was like, from my mission experience, was just like we didn't have district meetings, we didn't have like fun activities with other missionaries. It was just us and the small branch up there. And so when Elder Lehman left, I was by myself for 3 days.
Oh my gosh.
So
Just solo up there. Huh?
just solo. It was just me flying solo up in the Shetland. So I for that time, I think mission president, he talked to the how was this couple, the Williamsons. So the branch president, he was Williamson, and I think his brother is also Williamson. Or brother, yeah, no, must have been two brothers. And he was the ward mission leader, and they had like this small little shed in the back that their son would sometimes hang out in. So I would sleep in there for those 3 days, because I don't know, for some reason I was not allowed to stay by myself in the apartment.
Interesting.
So I was in this shed, but this was like a bachelor pad. It had like a PlayStation in it, and I like a TV. I don't think I ever played it, but it, like all this stuff in it. And I was like, dude, is this really, like, you moved me from our really, really, from our little apartment to this bachelor pad with like all kinds of fun stuff in it. So man, I was just there for 3 days. So I walked around. I went shopping by myself. I went to visit some members by myself. In those 3 days, it was quite
Drove
the
to the
experience.
top of the islands by yourself.
No, I don't think I did that. I think I just pretty much, I don't know what I did actually. I think I just spend my time mostly hanging out with the Williamsons and some of the other members.
Wow.
Yeah, that was special for me. That was kind of like my start in the mission. Maybe that already formed me being having this experience of being for myself. Our second companion was Elder Dunn,
Yeah.
Richard Dunn, my only American companion actually.
Really?
Wow.
That's unique.
That
Yeah,
is-
definitely. Yeah, because Elder Lehman was German, Elder Dunn was American. Everyone else mostly British.
Okay.
So
right.
yeah. So Richard Dunn, and you guys had him on already, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he was a fun guy, and he was definitely something else. I would say some of the later pranks and all the fun stuff, I blame on his influence on me.
Oh, no.
in those first few months, because we did have a good time together. But all right, he was quite a musical guy. He got himself this harmonica, and so he learned to play the harmonica. And I still remember, like, we had some good stories to tell, man. I think he skipped over quite a few things, so if I remember correctly, of some of the things that we did. But I remember this one time, like we for months, I think for years, missionaries in the Shetlands, they always did like the same service project. Like I did too for the first weeks. Like we would do service every morning. We would go to this little bed and breakfast. We would clean all their sheets, and like we would like press them. And afterwards, like for Trevor, I think that was the guy's name. And afterwards, Trevor would make this like really nice breakfast for us, which was great. So we enjoyed our breakfast, but it was kind of like we thought, after so many years, like it didn't really go anywhere. So Elidan and I, we decided we'd go and do some different service. And we signed up with this little agency up in the Shetlands, and they would give us like little service tasks. Like we went, I think one time we walked the dog, and one time we helped out in this old folks home, I think for Christmas. I think I still remember either him or me. I think we were like, singing a Christmas song to like some elderly people and played Santa Claus for them.
Oh gosh.
But the best activity was that we helped this this young guy, or maybe this young man. Maybe he was like 19, 20, something like that. But he was slightly handicapped, and he lived by himself. He was like in a assisted home kind of facility. And he had this thing. He had this. He would like collect stuff. Like he had like a mountain of light bulbs and toothpaste next to his bed. And he had like a closet full of like, I'm kid you not, 50 jackets.
Oh my gosh.
Like he had this massive closet full of 50 jackets, just like stuff like everywhere. And they tasked us to help him like clean out his apartment. So I think for days we helped him like clean everything up, and we took all the clothes out to the like secondhand shop. But in his closet, we found these two bright yellow like workers' jackets. Like those guys, like they had those really reflectors on it,
Right.
and we decided we'd take those, and we took them home with us. And during that time, I mean, Shetlands, it was not easy for doing missionary work. Like at some point, we probably talked to everyone, and I think we talked to everyone 3 or 4 times, and so we started thinking of creative ways to talk to people. So I don't know who came up with the idea. Was Elidan or myself, or if that was like a joint thing. But we decided to put these workers' jackets on. And at one time, we went out tracting somewhere in this little village, somewhere in the southern half of the island, and went tracting out in our construction workers' jackets. Because we thought maybe they think that we're construction people, and they just always open the door to us. Oh man. But yeah, it was like we had some fun times. So we did some of that, and yeah, I remember being out with Elidan. That I learned singing all the songs to the Lion King. Do you guys remember that? Like we still had these car tapes back then.
Gosh.
Do you remember? Like it was like the days. I remember, man, we were so old because we didn't have CDs yet. We only had tapes in the car. We had two tapes in our car. We had Enya, which I hated. I could not stand that Enya tape. So we had Enya and we had the Lion King. And so like all we did, like we drive with our car, like go tracking somewhere, and then we drive like an hour home, and all we did was like turn the Lion King on after like a long day of work, and loudly sang all the Lion King songs in the car on the way home. So
Gosh.
those are my memories of with Elder, or some of my memories with Elidan. I mean, like that guy was fun though. With a fun time.
I can just see you driving down the street singing Hakuna Matata.
Oh, totally. Born, I think Elidan. I think he liked I Can't Wait to Be King. I think that was his favorite.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Oh man, Shetland was fun though. Like it was really hard with the weather, and it was cold and wet all the time. But sometimes you'd be out there tracking. It was late at night, and I think 2 or 3 times we got to see the northern lights up there. So that was kind of worth it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, for sure. So let's think about some spiritual experiences with Elder Dunn. And I was like, I have one that came to my mind. I think he also forgot to mention that one. But this is me. Remember, like, I think I was out like 8 weeks, and he was like my follow-up trainer, and and he was pretty good teacher. I think I was not very good at it. I think I just barely remembered memorizing the discussions. And we were out one night, and this guy, young guy, he asked us to come in, and outside it was cold, it was winter, and finally we take our jackets and scarves off, and he has this tiny apartment where he sits on this chair, and then he has this couch, but the couch and chair, they were kind of like in a row, so only one missionary could really face him. So we sit down. I sit down like right next to the guy, and so I could talk to him. And Ella Dunn sits down to my left, so he couldn't really see him. And then we start getting into this discussion, and this guy, he like, oh man, he like starts crying. Tells me his life story. Tells me how his family like ostracized him, and how he's like having a really really hard time, and he expects us to listen to him and give him some like life advice. And then I turn around and look to Ella, and I was like, dude. And I see him, he just like nodded off there right next to me on the couch. Why this guy's having like, the hardest time of his life, and I'm like trying to like talk to him, make him feel better. I'm being so lost, and I just have to keep on like kidding him in the side to make him, to help him like wake up and help him.
Gosh,
So that was all done.
that's hilarious.
That's great.
But we taught this guy later. What was his name? Taught. Oh, Malcolm Gray. That's what it was. Malcolm Gray. He was a friend of Brother Williamson, and he was great. Like we started teaching him, and he started coming to church and turned his life around. He was a great guy. I wasn't up there anymore when he got baptized. I think he got baptized a few months after I left. But we're happy to see him and progress. He came visit me later. I think one time he came down to when I served in Coatbridge. He came by and we took him along, work with us for a day, and he was happy coming along. So yeah, that was a good experience up in the Shetlands.
That's cool.
So yeah, that was Shetland Islands.
Where next?
So next off was Coatbridge Airdrie. So with Elder Bautista. You already had him on. I think he already told a few of our experiences, but he was a great guy. We had a really good time together. So that was during the time when he still had this full head of hair. Remember, like, he was like he was like half Spanish, half Swedish. He was like this
Yep.
Swedish guy with like this almost like fro type hair. Well, we had a fun time together. But there was like one family favorite though that he forgot to tell, which I'll get to in a second. But I had the same thing. Like he got sick that one time. I still remember he got really really sick for like a week, and man, I could not stand staying in the apartment anymore. Like every day he'd just be sleeping all day, and I guess after I was used to like already being by myself for a couple of days up in the Shetlands, like one time I was like, I have to get out of this apartment. Up and I cooped up here for like a week, just sitting here and like, I think I played Jenga all day long.
Oh
and,
gosh.
and I was like reading, but I could not stay in the apartment anymore. So one time I just like went outside. I think I went and I think I knocked like on all the doors on our street and like passed out pass-along cards. And I think oh yeah, we had an appointment with this like older lady down the street. I think I went to go teach her by myself because I was like, okay, just gonna do this.
Oh gosh.
Maybe not the most appropriate thing, but man, I really could not stand anymore being just in the apartment by myself with the older Bautista just sleeping all the time.
Jeez.
But yeah, we had some fun time. We played with this companionship, this funny game that we played. Remember that we always bought this big bag of apples, and these apples they always had these little stickers on it. You always had to peel these little stickers off the apples. And we played this game like every day. We take these little stickers and we try to hide them like on the other person, like in something from the other person. And this game it kind of got more and more serious. And I think one time Ala Batista was sick. Well, no, maybe when he was sick, or maybe when he was just like taking a nap again. I actually managed to place a sticker right behind his ear. I know it's kind of dumb, but it was really funny. I still have one of his stickers like in my mission Bible. I pulled like a year I think after my mission. I open up my scriptures and I find one of his stickers in there. I was like, dude, that was a good one too.
What was his reaction when he found the sticker behind his ear? Do you remember?
Oh, I can't remember. I think he was really impressed at my skill to place it on him without him waking up. The goal was always like to place it on something that the other person had to find it, and he was like, obviously didn't manage to find it. I had to like point it out to him.
That's pretty good.
It's really funny.
But this is so my one of my family favorite stories. So I gotta tell it because Ella Batista didn't tell it. So there's a little bit parental advisory for everyone that's listening. You may want to skip. We may want to skip forward.
Sure.
So remember, like, we surfed together. It was like spring. I think there must have been like a holiday sometime in the spring. And if you surfed in Glasgow, remember, like at least on the outside of Glasgow, the buses didn't always run. Like on a public holiday, it seemed like the buses I think they went like every 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I think we wanted to go somewhere. And so we go to the bus stop, and there was like 20 people already waiting, and it was like another hour or at least like 30 minutes until the bus came. So we stood there with nothing to do. So we're like, okay, let's go talk to people. So he goes and talks to someone. I go talk to someone, and after a while, my person, like, we were kind of done, and they were like, want to do something else, and probably just didn't want to be bothered with me anymore. So I go over to Elder Bautista, who's like really having this lively discussion with this guy. And so also I want to point out, it was like, so he was Swedish, I was German, even though we both spoke decent English, it was still, we were both like the foreigners and trying to speak with these Scottish people, which was not always easy. So we talked to this guy, and he has like this big bottle, like he has this big Sprite bottle or Fanta bottle in his hand that he was like sipping on the whole time. And so in El Batista, he was in discussion. It's like, hey, we can come teach you. And he's like, no, I don't think you guys should come over. And we're like, yeah, we should come over. But no, it's this really small place and really only have like room for like one person. I was like, dude, hey, we got some time. We could come and we could come over, but we have to be together. We can only be the two of us coming over. He's like, nah, it's really not enough room. Really not enough room for two. And he's like, but the only way we can come over is if we're together. And he's like, okay, you both can come. All right, I'll make it work. You both can. If you really want to come, both of you, I'll let both of you guys come over. It's okay. So the bus comes like a few minutes later, and we all get on the bus. And it was like super full. Like the whole bus was already full. So everything was just like packed. We were all in there like sardines. I was like kind of like in the front. Elder Bautista was behind me, and this other guy, he was behind Elder Bautista. And so we were like riding on the bus and then going towards wherever that guy lived. And then all of a sudden, Elder Bautista's like, Elder Bredlow, I think he just pinched my butt. I was like, what?
What?
And then all of a sudden, I think we just realized what was going on. And we're like, okay, we're going to get off this bus right now. So like, we just tell the bus driver, please let us off. So he let us off at the next bus stop. And the guy just comes out following us. And he's like, guys, why are you leaving? I thought you both going to come over. I even made room for both of you in my bed. We're like, what?
gosh.
And then we both realized this was like we totally misunderstood what he was inviting us over to.
Oops.
So this was a very serious misunderstanding. We're like, yeah, I think we're not gonna come over. This is not what we were wanting to do. We were wanting to talk about the gospel and not really do any other stuff. And then this guy, he goes like crazy. He's like super unhappy. And we're at this bus stop in the middle of nowhere, and there's like no person anywhere except for this girl that sits at the bus stop. And he all of a sudden he goes crazy and he starts chasing this girl around the bus stop. They just like run circles around the bus stop.
Oh my
And
god.
we're like, dude, like we're gonna call the cops if you don't stop. And he's like, hey, don't call the cops, don't call the cops. And he finally he decides that he needs to go and relieve himself at the bus stop. He just like, and then he had peed in his pants. I don't think what was going on, and then he finally left. But it was like, but
Oh my
actually,
God.
that was definitely one of the craziest experiences that we had.
That's pretty crazy.
So
Yeah.
this is what happens when you put a German and a Swedish guy together that do not speak that good of Scottish.
Oh man.
So, but yeah, we had some good spiritual experiences too, though. But I remember at one time we always when we taught this guy. I forgot what his name was, but he was this former prison inmate guy. We went to teach him, I think, every week. In order to get to his house, we always had to go to like this pretty rough part of Airdrie, and that a couple of times we ran into this group of just young kids. You know, there's always these guys that the nets, the nets. And that one time, I remember like they would make fun of us, and they would even like put like they would put their ash of their cigarette on El Batista's head that one time. Like so, we were like, ooh, this could go like sideways, but it didn't, fortunately. But at one time, there like we saw these guys and their car broke down. And we helped them like push their car down the street like to help them with whatever they needed. And it turned out it was some of these Neds. And after that, they were cool with us. Like they had our backs. That didn't bother us anymore. One time, they even helped us. I think that was like they told us, dude, guys, don't go this way today. There's like a shooting going on. You guys don't want to go that way.
Oh my gosh.
But taught us that helping those strangers gets rewarded sometimes.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. So yeah, we had a good time. We taught this other forgot this there was this family where the mom passed away, but we got to teach their they had like this massive funeral for the mom that passed away. They were like less active, and then the son came back, I think from London, where he went to study. And man, that was I forgot what his name was, but he was such a great kid. Like he ordered from us 2 boxes of Books of Mormon that we had to bring from the zone conference, just so he could hand them all out at the funeral.
That's amazing. Wow.
So yeah, that was my time, Coatbridge and Airdrie. That was fun experience. Remember, still there was some great members there too. I don't know if you ever been exchanges there?
I went on exchanges there. I served in Cumbernauld
Oh,
after
yeah.
you were there, so same district. Went on exchanges with Sprague.
Oh yeah, he was district leader, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So we had I think the Dohertys. They were like the mission, our missionary mom there. Linda and I think Linda Doherty. They were great. They were really great to us. The Bryces, they feed us all the time. Yeah, it was fun. So yeah, that was Coatbridge. That was Coatbridge Airdrie for me. So after that, it was off to Edinburgh. Edinburgh with Elder Drew,
Nice.
Simon Drew. I think we were together 6 weeks. I think we were together. Yeah. Edinburgh was great. It was like during the summer. It was like nice outside. Man, I loved Edinburgh. It's a great city. Just the right size. It was fun. We had a big ward, even though with so many missionaries, like you were kind of, in all the other areas we knew the people, but in Edinburgh there was so many of us, so we weren't as special anymore. Which was a bit sad, but it was fun though to finally be like in a bigger district with the office elders, and you know we saw the zone leaders sometimes. So Edinburgh was fun. But then we do service in this Catholic convent where we called like the service date sometimes, because it was always I think it was Elder Drew and I think Sister McConkey and Sister Miller, they served at the same time. So we would just sometimes sit there, and I'll be like peeling potatoes with Sister Miller for like 2 hours. We'd sit there and chat. That was all service activity.
Wow.
So it was good to see them. I think you had Sister Miller on a while back too.
Yeah, we did. Mm-hmm.
Edinburgh was great though. Like we were so close to the stadium that you could hear the I think it was the Heart Stadium. You could hear the football games. You know when they scored a goal, everyone was cheering.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, Edinburgh was fun. So Elder Drew, and I still have some beef with Elder Drew, because he told me he was a professional chef before he went on his mission, and not a single time did he cook anything. So if you hear this, you still owe me a good meal.
Yes.
Come on,
I
Simon.
didn't know that Simon was a chef before. That's pretty interesting. Did
Yeah,
he make anything nice for himself?
No, I don't think he really cooked very much. At least not that I remember. So maybe that before we served together, after, but I cannot remember that he did anything. Where he told me that he had this one dish that he could cook, where he set like the pan on fire, and so he's like, yeah, like, it was really good, chef. I was like, dude, you never cooked anything nice. So
That's pretty funny.
By their fruits you shall know them.
I know, right? So, but we had a fun time together. He was a good guy. And after Elder Drew, I served with my first greenie. That was I served in Edinburgh. I served with Ella Rayfield. So if you hear this Ella Rayfield, you got to come on too.
He's been called out quite a few times, and if you still have contact with Alex, we'd love to get connected, because we haven't been able to get in touch with him.
Yeah, I haven't really we haven't talked in a long time either. We talked over Facebook a few years back, and I stayed over at his house. That's like probably 10 years ago now. Like one time when I was on the way to Texas, and I flew by myself because my wife and the kids, they're already over, and there was like a snowstorm, and all the flights were canceled. And I remember we were in contact at the time. I called him up, and he's like, "Hey, come stay over at my house."
Wow.
So that was nice. That's when we saw each other. But that's quite a while ago now.
And you said you were in what area?
So I can't remember what our area was called. Was it Granton area? So there was a one area the office elders had, and there was two. There was the sisters area, and then was our area. We kind of had like all the entire western half of Edinburgh was us.
Okay.
Since the office elders didn't get out very much, like we sometimes like took on their area too if there was something going on.
Interesting.
But I can't remember what it was called. I think it was called Granton.
Sounds right. Rings a bell.
It does.
Yeah. So man, there was some fun times in Edinburgh. There was this one system, this one I think Maureen Burnside. Speaking of cooking, because she was an awesome cook. She lived like somewhere out in the west of Edinburgh, and we visited her. And her son, I think she told us her son was like a chef somewhere, like a 2-star restaurant type chef
Wow.
somewhere in southern England. And she made like the best meals. We were very happy to be over at her place.
So her son got those skills from his mom, it sounds like.
Oh, must have been.
That's cool.
But for a while we had Elder Clausen living with us, and I think Elder Clausen, he was at the time he was serving with Elder Livingston. Elder Livingston.
Yeah.
And you guys ever been around Elder Clausen?
Yep.
Yes,
He
indeed.
was our zone leader for a little bit.
Oh, he was? Yeah, he
Yeah.
was a good guy. He would tell you a story about how he rolled a bowling ball down the hill.
I don't remember that
Don't
one.
recall that one. Nope.
He was well, not on his mission. I think he did that out in Alaska. But he also had he liked to have some fun and do some experimental things. You know, and I don't know if you guys ever, like in this one part that we go all the time, like these post people, like these postal workers, they drop these rubber bands like every day, like drop like thousands of these rubber bands. I
I
think
remember that.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Like I don't know, in some areas, I guess they must have just been too lazy to take them with them, just like throw them on the ground.
Yeah.
And I think Elder Klaus and I, we were out on exchanges sometimes, and we started like picking up these rubber bands, and then Elder Rayfield and I, we started doing it too. And I was starting to build this rubber band ball, and it got bigger and bigger. And at some point, it was like, I think it was almost like bowling ball size, not quite, but it
Oh
was
my God.
massive. It was like I'd say it probably weighed like 2 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember Elder
Did you-
Klaus was like, "What?
Did you have that when we were in Dunfermline?
No, I think no. I'm pretty sure we got rid of it because it was quite dangerous. We were, and let's say we were not so smart with it. I think it's good we didn't have that thing.
Jeez.
But Klasny was always like, dude, like because we lived like our apartment was on the 4th floor, and we had this really nice staircase in the middle. So it's this big open area, and Elakos was like, dude, you have to drop it. We have to see how high it will bounce up. I was like, dude, that thing is like 2 pounds. Like we don't know what's going to happen if we drop that thing. He's like, dude, you have to do it. So that I think that one time, like someone stood watch at the bottom, so like no one would like accidentally walk in and be killed by our 2-pound ball. And so we like walked all the way up, from the 4th floor, and we dropped that thing like right in the hallway. And I kid you not, it like bounced back up all the way up to like the 2nd floor. But then what happened? Like it bounced up, and then it went onto the staircase, and it started like bouncing down the staircase. And I think it knocked on a few doors. So I think we were quickly out of there and realized this was maybe not the smartest idea. I don't know what we did with that thing.
Just left it probably.
I think we probably just left it. And I don't know if someone else like started doing some crazy stuff with it.
Wow. Jeez.
But yeah, we had some fun in Edinburgh. Like yeah, finally we had a good song. I think Elton Dunn was zone leader there too. Like we had some fun experiences, exchanges down in Dalkeith.
Wow.
And yeah, and Elder Rayfield, he was a funny guy. There's a he took like the longest ever in the bathroom. Like I kid you not, he was like in there like forever. And the Edinburgh flat, it was kind of special because at the outside of like in the hallway was a switch where you could turn off the hot water in the bathroom. So,
Oh no.
So that that kind of like asked for when someone would be like taking a shower, like there was 4 of us sometimes staying in there. So there was like one of the funny games in the morning you'd have to like really hurry up in the shower because you never knew when someone would come and turn off the hot water on you.
Gosh.
I think Ella Rayfield, he had to suffer a few times. But he
Oh
was
my gosh.
he was a funny guy. We got along really well. We yeah we worked hard, and he came up with some funny stuff too. Ella Rayfield. Like I remember he's this this little skinnier guy, but he always wanted to show off like how tough he was, and he would buy himself these he'd buy himself these noodle like those like microwave noodle things, like these noodle dishes, and he got himself like the one that's called like the Bombay Bad Boy. Have you ever seen those?
I think I have heard that.
Have you seen those? So he got himself this Bombay Bad Boy. I'm like, I'm not into hot food. He's like, dude, I'm gonna eat this. I'm gonna eat this, and but this is like too weak for me. So he got himself like this big bottle of Tabasco sauce, and he put in all this Tabasco sauce into his Bombay Bad Boy,
Oh my gosh.
and then he just like ate it all in one go. I was like, dude, you were just crazy doing that.
Oh my
But
word.
he did it. He did it, and he was like, I think he was crying afterwards, but he's like, this tasted so good.
Gosh.
So, but he's a funny guy. He came up with some crazy thoughts. He came up with this thing. We had a pet carrot for a few weeks, and if you put a carrot in your refrigerator and you leave it there for a while, it starts getting like really kind of like blackish brown, and starts getting all like soft and uh and squishy. But we're wondering what happens after that. And so we had that carrot thing. I think we kept that for like, I think for the whole time. That was like our companionship. Unify was like our pet.
Oh my
And I think
god.
we kept that for the whole time. And at some point though, it started being like smelly and like oozed out as like this nasty juice. So Elder Rayfield was like, all right, we gotta seal this off. And he got himself like a bottle and he put the carrot into this bottle and like sealed it off. And then I think he put it in the window where it was like all sun, and he would say, like, okay, let's see if this thing dries out, what happens to it. I think it stayed out there for like a while. And at one time it was like in the summer, middle of summer, so we always had like the window open because so some air would come in. And we come home this one evening, it was like dark already. We turned on the lights, and then I hear this like weird buzzing sound in the apartment. And then I look up to the ceiling, and there was like 100 flies on our ceiling. I think like this weird carrot thing must have attracted. And I was like, dude, this is the last day this pet carrot was gonna stay with us.
Oh my god.
This thing will need to go. And I think we just took it and like chucked it out the window.
So you were the reason Sister Vriens told us to keep our flats clean.
Oh, is that? Dude, man. Oh, we had some crazy stuff there.
Gosh.
Oh,
That's pretty funny.
Sister Vriens, she was the best. So that was Elder Rayfield. He was great. I just remember. I think when Elder Clausen and because they were just with us for a little while until they got their own apartment. I think they left us a little present. I think they left us like a little tree in our bathtub.
A tree?
I think they left us. I think they dug out. They must have dug out this little tree. I think that's what it was. I think they got a bunch of dirt and just like put it in like it was just like a tiny one, more like a plant, I guess. But still, it was like 30 centimeters, like a foot tall. Oh, they had a good sense of humor. Oh yeah, that was Edinburgh. Edinburgh was great though. It was fun going to the mission home and chatting with the office elders. And I always tell my kids, my daughters, they love Harry Potter. And I was like, yep. I walk by, I think what's the Harry Potter
Rowling's.
Oh yeah, J.K. Rowling. It's like I'll walk by J.K. Rowling's house, I think like every day. I think we rang her bell, but yeah, she never answered.
She was writing one of the books.
Probably.
Wow.
But man, could you imagine that would have been something? Yeah, I loved Edinburgh. It was a beautiful place. So after that, it was on to our favorite area. So I think after Edinburgh came Dunfermline. And I don't know, were you there when I got there already?
No, I was after the fact. Are you
Oh
sure
man,
you went to Dunfermline from there?
oh no, I didn't. No, that's right. That's right. I went to Hamilton first. That's right.
Gonna say I
Oh
was like,
no,
I'm
right.
pretty sure there's a link that you missed in that gap.
Yes, totally. After Edinburgh was Hamilton. That's right. Back to the Glasgow Triangle. So Jack, you served in work. What in
Cumbernauld.
Cumbernauld. So were we there at the same time when Elder Sprague was district leader?
I think so. I think that was like my, yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe.
So we were there because I mean we did this one district activity because he was in Airdrie, and I think yeah, because I served there, it was like Christmas time. So my second would have been Christmas 2004, Christmas 2004, and we did this district activity where we were all over at the in the Airdrie apartment, and the Airdrie apartment was like this two story row house. And were you there? Because then you would have remembered.
No, I wasn't there for Christmas. I left that transfer. I left to go
Okay,
up to Peterhead. So
you would have definitely remembered our district activity. I don't know. Elder Spec. I don't think Elder Spec talked about that, did we?
I
Because
don't think so. I don't think so.
it would have been
But
Sprague, and then Hill and McDonald would have been in Cumbernauld.
because I know I think the zone leaders were over there as well. I think Elder West, if I remember correctly. I think, and that was one very special activity because we were, I think next, I can't remember if I was zone comments, but we were all over there. It was like 6 or 8 of us. It was like late in the day, and we decided to have this massive water fight in the house. That was our activity, and it got crazy. I'm telling you, because it was this two-story building, and I think we all brought water guns. I'm pretty sure we all had water guns. So we had water guns, and we like team up, and we'd be like hiding behind mattresses, and we'd like get everything we could find, and we'd have like the whole place was like underwater. I'm telling you, it was crazy. And in the end, I think I was so drenched because like I think Elder Sprague or someone got me really really bad, and I think someone had like a bucket and like threw it at someone, like threw, like a bucket of water, and then we were like hiding in the shower, like we were hiding in the bathroom, and someone came in, and then we just like took the shower hose and like started spraying it all over people. Man, it was like crazy. We were all like, like
Oh,
Wow.
God.
I cannot remember. I cannot imagine how we did not get called out in that one. But everyone kept their mouth shut and kept that one under wraps. But I think we spent just as much time cleaning up that place again after having that water gun fight.
Was that the first Verboten?
Oh, that was definitely one of the forebodings. That was the beginning of the forebodings. Oh man, those were some that was when the times were getting even better. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna get to the forebodings. I wanna hear about your forebodings.
Oh my
They were
gosh. Jeez. Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that one in a few minutes. But Hamilton was also that was definitely the beginning of the forebodings. Yeah. So when we were in Hamilton, we did that activity, and that was the 4-man apartment. So I served with Elder Mace, Chris Mace, the sporty Chris Mace, the football player first,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we had a bit of a we had a bit of a rougher time at first. I mean, we had fun playing football, but um, yeah, I think we didn't get along as well. And I wish I would have been. My wife probably would have told me to talk less and listen more when I served with him. But if you hear this, Elder Mace, yeah, I wish I could have been a better companion during that time. But no, But we still had some fun times as well. There was 4 of us, I think, for a while with Elder Buckner, and Elder Buckner he served with, I forget who it was. It was this I think this elder from Nevada, if I remember correctly. But we also had some fun time in that apartment. Sometimes I think I'd go on splits with Elder Buckner sometimes. And remember the first lunch appointment that we had with the bishop. I think the bishop in Hamilton was called I think Elder Cameron,
Yep.
Bishop Cameron. Bishop
Mhm.
Cameron. He was a great guy.
It was.
Did you serve? Did you serve there?
I did. I served in Hamilton later in my mission.
Did he take you to the Indian restaurant?
I don't remember that. If he did, I mean, obviously, it sounds like I would have.
Like I remember, like we got there and it was just like I think it was like my first week, and he's like, "Elders, do you guys know what a ring stinger is?" And I was like, "Nope." He was like, "Well, you're about to find out." So he took us to this Indian restaurant. I'm telling you, it was like the best Indian food I ever had. But next day we knew what a ring stinger was.
Oh my gosh.
But man, I love Bishop Cameron. He was a great guy.
Yeah, he was. My gosh.
Yeah. Did he make you serve in a calling?
No, I was only there for 6 weeks, and I don't think he put me in a calling while I was there that I can recall anyway.
Yeah. So after was with the first Elder Mace, I was with Tall Mace after that.
Wow.
So other Chris Mace, and we had a great time together. That guy was so much fun. We laughed a lot. We worked hard, but we also had lots of fun together. And yeah, Bishop Cameron he gave us callings. Like I think I was in Young Men's, and Chris, I think he was like the ward secretary. So sometimes we'd go and we'd be going to the ward building, and we'd have to do like we were there for like activities.
That's cool.
But yeah, he was great. And I remember we also taught this missionary prep class at the church. And then when did you serve there?
Summer of 2006.
So that would have been, that was already after I was gone.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I think that sister probably must have gone in Missionary by then.
Hmm.
But I heard that ward got merged with Motherwell.
Yeah, that's what we've been told too. Is that I guess so Chris Mace, Skinny Mace told us that they sold the building to some organization in Hamilton. I'm not sure, and then they merged the wards with Motherwell, which I was pretty surprised to hear. But in any case,
well, that ward was kind of it was like a smaller ward. I mean, the fact I guess that they gave us callings kind of tells you something was weird.
Yeah.
That was kind of like I think that was like the only time I've ever heard about that.
Yeah, that is unique. I don't remember that and maybe it was because I was only there for a short period of time, but great people in that ward. Just in that boundary, all together. I'm sure you had dinner over at Winifred Tarrant's house, and
all the time. Because she just lived down the street, right? I mean, it was like
she was like literally 2 doors down from our apartment, if I remember correct. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, she was great. We were over there because we were there for Christmas. So she had us over, I think, for Boxing Day, and she had like this beautifully decorated Christmas tree. She like put so much effort into it, and she was awesome. She took us. I think one time she took us, and I think the other missionaries in Motherwell. I think all of us. She took us to Stirling Castle. So we had like on P Day. And she was awesome.
Yeah, she was. Chris Mace told us that you had an instance in that week between Christmas and New Year's where you guys acquired a Nintendo 64. Is that true?
Oh yes, definitely. So I actually when I was listening to his episode, my wife was listening with me, and she was like, "What? You guys bought that? You've told me for years that the bishop gave you that." And I was like, I must have forgotten that part.
That's so funny.
Oh yeah, that's definitely like we must have bought the Nintendo. But I'm telling you though, Bishop Cameron, he was I mean, he was one funny guy. He did bring us though the TV over because we did not ask
It was
for it.
the bishop.
It was the bishop. So the bishop brought us that TV. He brought us a TV, a VHS player, and Lord of the Rings as well.
That sounds like a great week.
So, but you know what it's like. You know, Hamilton was a tough area, especially for Christmas. You know, no one wants to talk to you, and
Yeah.
so we've just we all stayed in. There was and there was the four of us, I think, in an apartment already, and then Elder Sprague came over with his companion. I think the Motherwell elders came over. I think just everyone was like hanging out at our apartment for Christmas, and then we watched. So we had this like a big kind of lazy day. I think we watched Lord of the Rings and we played GoldenEye like all day long.
That sounds amazing.
Oh man, that was fun. And the members, they were so great. They brought us like this massive, like they must have always thought we were starving. I guess Ella Macy, he was skinny man, but I thought that we needed something to eat. And they brought us over. They brought us over like this massive bag full of food. It was like this not like a shopping bag, but like this like a bag you can like a bag you can put like a whole person in. It was like I would say it was like 10 pounds or 20 pounds worth of food that they gave us as a Christmas present, which was great.
Wow.
Yeah, they were awesome.
Oh, that's too fun.
But yeah, we had a good time, and that Christmas was definitely one to remember.
I bet.
Yeah, I think we were sad when the TV had to go again, but it was probably better. When Christmas was over, it was also time for that TV to leave the house again.
That's right. It's funny.
But we worked hard, so I think it was during that Christmas time. It was those 2 days. I think it was some time to take off, and which was fair enough. I think everyone kind of earned it, even though I guess you can't really say that we weren't really supposed to have it. But thinking back now, I think we it's not like we were goofing off. We were working pretty hard in Hamilton.
Yeah.
I guess and if the bishop brings it over, it can't be that bad, right?
That's right.
He's responsible for the missionary work in his area. So
Right.
Exactly. So, yeah, man, Bishop County was great. But yeah, we were teaching this. We were working so hard in Hamilton, but man, it was a tough area. It was like it was winter, it was gray. We didn't really get anywhere. But then all of a sudden, this lady, I forgot what her name was, but she used to live in Motherwell, and she just started. She just came to church and was like, "Hey, I want you guys to teach me." And I think Chris, I think she still has contact with her. But man, she was so golden. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did mention that. It was a pretty cool story to hear.
Yeah.
She just showed up at church and said, "I'm ready."
I'm ready. That's why I think we taught her so quickly. I think I left pretty quickly afterwards. That's why I think I wasn't there. I'm trying to remember. I think I wasn't there for baptism. I think I was just there for a few weeks, and then I think he baptized her later.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that was a nice end to Hamilton area. But yeah, after Hamilton, that's definitely the favorite time coming to Dunfermline.
Oh.
You weren't there yet, right? You were. So
Nope.
it was me and I think Elder Pilkington. I think, because I'm trying to remember if it was first.
I don't think so.
Logie,
I
if
think
Logie Bear was first or Pilkington was first, I can't remember.
it was Loganberg. Yeah.
Oh, was Loganberg first?
Yeah.
So Logie Bear. I mean, he was also something else. He was a little older missionary, and when we were together, he was my second greenie, and you know what it's like when you teach someone, you always want to be the good example and work really hard. But man, he used to be a postman before he went on a mission, and I'm telling you, no one walked. I think in this entire mission walked as fast as Elder Loganberg did.
I agree.
agree with that.
If you've ever been on an exchange with him or served with him, you know that he would walk fast. And of course, me as his trainer, I'll be like, I have to pretend that I can walk even faster than him. So I think we must have been like just like running down, we say speed walking down the. So I think it was like a competition of who could walk faster. But I think like every night, like I like massage my feet because they'd be hurting so much.
That's probably where you and Jack cross paths the most, is because you both trained at the same time. Because Logie Bear was in my group.
Oh, you guys came out together?
Yeah. So you and Jack were in the trainer's room when they lined us up and paired us off.
Oh, I didn't remember that anymore. So you came out with him. But I guess
Yep.
at that time I didn't really know you yet. That was
Nope.
that was a time for later.
You didn't. That's true.
So Jack, who did you serve with then?
I trained Zach.
Oh, you trained Zach.
Yeah, Jack
Oh,
was my trainer.
all right, that's how you guys met. So yeah, so Logie Bear, he was a good guy though. But yeah, it was always a bit of a competition at first, but we got along really well. He was a great guy, hard worker, super hard worker, and really wanted to be there. You could tell he was a little older. But yeah, I think we walked all up and down that area, and he already told the Jobby sausage story. I don't think anyone can tell that story better than he can.
Who did he do it to first?
Oh,
Was it Rasmussen or was it Conway?
no, the Jobby sausage.
Yeah.
That was Loganberg that they played.
Oh yeah, we did it to him.
Oh,
We did
that's
it to him.
right.
So we were, so it was like one night. Were you there already? No, it was
No, not
like,
yet.
It was before your time. So that was Conway, and I think
It was
I gave him that name, Conweasel.
Wasn't it Razzle too? Razzle Dazzle.
Razzle Dazzle. Yeah, I think he already had that name. But yeah, there was Elder Lowenberg and me, and Rasmussen and Conway. Yes. Yeah, we went to I think we already did the basketball playing. It was one night after basketball.
Oh yeah, I think that's what he said. I remember that.
And I don't know. I don't even know how we got started with this whole Jobby sausage thing. But he was always, he was all like, we just, I don't know why we were so mean to him. It was like we were talking about this Jobby sausage, and the whole time, like, yeah, man, I just really want to have a Jobby sausage. Like they have the best Jobby sausage going on. And it took a while. We had to work up to it as well, because it couldn't sound so obvious. So I think like all evening we were talking about this Jobby sausage, and how we really need to have a Jobby sausage after we go play basketball. Oh man, it was so funny. I'd be like, hey, yeah, Logie, can you go get us 3 Jobby sausages? We're just gonna wait here. Just go pick us up some Jobby sausages. And that is definitely my kids listen to him telling that story, and I think they were all cracking up. They have heard the story so many times, and it's definitely one of their favorites. I think one of the reasons that my kids want to go on a mission is because I've been telling him this Jobby sausage story so often.
That's so good.
Like and this story, like they have told it their friends in their school, and someone in my daughter's class came up with a game they called Jobby sausage.
Jeez Louise.
So now there's like those elementary
Famous.
kids. They now have a game that's called Jobby sausage. All after Elder Loganberg's experience.
That's amazing.
Brilliant.
Oh man, that was funny. So yeah, he was, and then Rasmussen. No, you weren't there for the activity when we were hiding under the bed, were you?
I don't think so.
Weren't. No, you weren't. Oh, I gotta tell a bit more about this, because Logie left out some, and Elder Conway, they all left out some very important, like, funny detail.
Yeah, that's right. I was not there for this situation.
So I gotta tell you my version of the story. So, you've already heard it a couple times, like, but we had the key to their apartment, and we were hiding in there, and we were like, this was like a long game, like, activity. Like, we were hiding in that apartment probably for like an hour. maybe longer. Maybe we were hiding for like 2 hours. I don't know. We had to hide for a long time because we snuck into their apartment. We knew that they were going to come home in like 15 minutes, and we were hiding. And I thought we were both hiding on the bed, but Logie said that one of us was hiding on the bed, and then the other one in the closet. I can't remember. I thought we were both hiding on the bed, but either way, we were hiding in there. But we had to wait until they actually finally went to sleep. So we had to be in there for a long time. Because we listened to them, going to the bathroom, joking around, brushing their teeth, finally getting, and then finally after like forever, finally getting into their beds and turning the lights off. And so, we've been just there quiet the whole time, waiting, and waiting until they finally go into their beds. And this is, like we start making these noises. And Elder Rasmus, he was the best. Because remember Elder Conway, he was always like afraid of ghosts. And he's like, dude, I think I heard something. I was like, dude, no, there's nothing. Just go to bed. Rasmus, he would always get really annoyed. He's like, dude, just be quiet. I want to sleep. And we like, keep on making noises. It's like, dude, I heard it. He's like, wait. Like, and Rasmus was like, dude, I think I heard it too. And then we waited a little bit longer. He started making noises again. And like we did it from like under the bed. It's like, dude, I think it comes from under the bed. He's like, I think you're right. And then Conway's like, go check it out. And then I was like, you check it out. They start arguing. It's like, no, you check it out. All right, we check it out together on 3. I think that must have been like the best part. They're like arguing back and forth. And like, all right, on 3, I'm gonna go look. And they're like 1, 2, and then Louis comes out and like grabs, and I think I don't know what happened that moment, but I think like one of them may have wet the bed. I don't know, but they were so scared. I think they were both like jumped up. I think they may have hit the ceiling. It was like all these hours waiting under those beds. It was like worth it just for that moment.
Jeez Louise.
But man, we had to wait for a long time to make it happen. But that was one fun. That was definitely one of the funnest events that we had. Oh man!
And then Conway's revenge.
Oh yes. So that one is bad. So the revenge story. This is what really happened. That I think it was a Sunday, because we went and we all 4 of us, we had lunch at the ward mission leader's house. And that day, like we had like I still remember, like we had rice that day, because I remember everything about that day. Like we had rice, and
was Paul Rand the ward mission leader?
Yes, Paul. No, it was yeah. We were Paul
or Tony.
Tony, I think it was Tony. It was like, was he related to Paul?
Yeah, it was Paul's dad.
Yeah, I think we had food over at Tony, and they were all there. It was just like a big Sunday dinner. It was like lots of people there.
Yeah.
And we had this rice. And I remember afterwards, I was then saying, I think like the rice may have been like a little undercooked. I remember I mentioned this, and then we were all doing our little foreboding activity, and we were all like in our room. And you remember our apartment, right? It was like this huge apartment with this huge room.
Yeah.
And we had these 2 bedrooms with like 2 beds each. But of course, we were like, why have 2 bedrooms? Let's just put all 4 beds in the same room.
Jeez. And then we played soccer in the small one.
That's right. We played soccer, and we played giant Jenga.
That's right.
We had the giant Jenga. Remember, we had that giant Jenga. But I remember they gave us that really nice. They made that really nice hot chocolate. I was like, man, those guys are so nice. Like they made that hot chocolate. They're like, oh, Bredlow, you want some hot chocolate? It's like, yeah, sure. It's like, it was a cold day outside. It was so nice of you. And they gave me this hot chocolate. And they're like, yeah, have as much as you like. Like not knowing what they were up to. And I remember Longberg, like his stomach was like hurting or something. He didn't want any. And so I had his hot chocolate. And then, at some point we all went to bed. And then I remember it was like the middle of the night, like 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. and all of a sudden I wake up and have like the worst stomach pain ever. Like I feel like I'm dying. I feel like, I don't know if you've ever had the feeling. Like I felt like my intestine, my stomach was like twisting itself, and like turning inside out. Like I went to the bathroom. I was just like doing breathing exercises. Like, like I was just sitting there, and I thought I was literally dying.
Oh my gosh.
And I think that's like, I think I went to the bathroom, went back to the bed, like half an hour later, went to the bathroom, went back to bed. I think like all night, like I think I went like back and forth like 4 or 5 times until I finally was like so exhausted I just fell asleep.
That bathroom was as big as that bedroom that we played soccer in too. Like there's a toilet and then this huge room and a tub on the other side, and it was just a huge. And so every time I think about it, I'm like, Roman was just dying on that floor.
Oh, and I was, man, I was that was the worst. And the next one, the worst thing, like next morning I get up and I was like, man, I think that rice must have been bad. I blamed it. I blamed it on the food, and they all played along. They all led me to believe, that we had like bad food, and it was all that. It was all because of that. I was like, I don't think I'm ever gonna go back eat there.
Jeez.
But my wife is still mad at them for that. She's like, if my husband ever gets cancer, like I know why.
Oh my gosh.
Rightfully so.
And the funniest part, like since you guys been doing these mission podcasts, my kids have been listening to them like sometimes, and then we do like longer family trips. We like listen to some of them, and they listen to this story, and they first time they heard like the all the details. And that day, I think we had dinner with my mom, and they told my mom that story, and she's never heard it. Like I've never told my mom that story. So it's like 15 years later now, almost like 20 years later, and my mom she got like super upset.
Oh my God.
She's like, "What were you guys doing?"
Well, Elder Conway tried to kill me. Thank you.
I know. It was like, but I survived it. I'm okay now, so no worries about it.
Hey, everything
But
was cleaned out at that point in time. Like you had a restart.
Fresh start.
oh, definitely. I think I was maybe a little overweight before that, but I was
Not after.
not after that. I think I lost a couple pounds doing that.
I'm
Doing that
sure you did. Gosh.
Oh man, those were good times. And then I think Ella Rasmussen left. Were you there? Because that was only the beginning. We had a few back and forths after that too. Like
Yeah.
that was not the end of it. Like after that experience, like obviously we had to get them back again. And so we still had the key to their apartment. So Elder Loganberg and I, we went to this shop and we bought this itching powder. We bought a whole bunch of itching powder, and we like, we cannot let that sit. So we got this itching powder and put like all over their underwear. We got itching powder, and also
Gosh. I think Rasmussen talked about that, didn't he?
I don't remember. I don't remember if we did that. Yeah, we put all the itching powder and then put it all over the underwear. So it was like, of course we had to get them back.
Oh
But yeah,
my gosh.
they were funny though. But then they got us back again. Like one night they told us that we have to come back to the apartment. So we went back to the apartment, and then they were waiting for us with like I think water balloons and water guns. We were coming home with our suits on all night. So it was like summer day, and they'd be like drenching us in with their water guns and their water balloons.
Jeez. Oh
So,
boy.
oh man, that was fun though. Yeah, and I think after that we got them back again. I think after that we got a whole bunch of water balloons and we placed them all in their beds. So we placed like a whole bunch of water balloons, I think, under there, because like Elder Rasmussen, he was like he'd make his bed like super perfect every day, like blanket, everything would be like looking super nice. And he had this thing, like he would come home and he'd always like jump right on his bed, like he like just like jump right into it. So we're like, okay, let's place like let's put a few well placed water balloons in here.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man. But I think that was the end of it. I think after Ella Rasmussen left, and I think the crazy prank time finally came to an end. I think you were the one that finally that brought some sense to us.
Whatever. It was because Loganberg left. You know that.
Oh yes, Logie left. That's right. So Logie left and Rasmussen, they both left, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's all a Lowenberg. Yeah, it must have been all Ella Lowenberg. That's right. But man, that was definitely a fun time. I mean, we also worked really hard. I'm trying to remember. We were teaching this lady. I think Betty Isaac. We started teaching her with Logie, and then Ella Pilkik and I think we taught her as well.
Yeah,
But do you remember
that
Betty?
name. I remember that name. I don't remember her personally, but I do remember her name.
Yeah, like she was this lady. She didn't live far from the bishop's house, and she was this lady. She would not leave her house. Like she was like a super heavy smoker. Like she would smoke like I think like 5 packs of cigarettes a day. Like we would go over there, and
That's right. I do remember her now because
remember
I went into her flat and I remember like the walls were just completely stained with tannin, and
Yeah.
it was so there was always like little flies flying around. And,
Yes, exactly.
yeah, it was a
Like-
unique situation. I remember her now.
Like it was like so smoky that we would call ahead and be like, Betty, can you please open the window? Like we're gonna be over in like 2 hours. And she'd be like, open the window, just like all the smoke would clear out. But she was awesome. Like we would teach her, and then we'd leave her like little reading passages, and she would read, and we'd start bringing. Oh, what's her name? There was this family in Rosyth. I forgot their names. Sister.
The Listons.
No, it's not. It was not the Listons. It was not the Listons.
Scythe.
It was
Trying to
that
remember.
sister. She had like 3 daughters. It was like a single. What was it? Listons?
No, I know exactly you're talking about, and I'm trying to remember what. Trying to figure it out. You keep going.
Yeah, but it was like we started bringing her along, and she used to tell the story how she stopped smoking, like using this grapefruit juice and carrots, and she started like connecting with Betty, and she started like
The
at some point-
Dawsons. The
the
Dawsons.
That's right, the Dawsons. You're right.
Yeah.
They're right, the Dawsons. Like they were awesome. Like she'd come along like all the time. Like she'd almost be like she'd come with us like all the time. And
Yeah, I
Betty, she
remember
was
that.
doing so great. Like she that one day she just decided she's gonna stop smoking, like from like cold turkey. But then like 3 days later, she calls us like, "Ah, feeling so bad. I just couldn't do it. I felt so sick, and I had to smoke again." But then we helped her again, and then she finally, like the second try, she quit, and I think she stayed off it.
Yeah, I
And
remember
where she
that.
was, and I remember like we went over there like a couple weeks later, and she's like, "I thank you guys so much. Like, I didn't realize I can taste things again. Like things taste differently. Like all of a
Yeah.
sudden, like she started to be active again. She went out, she came to church, and we were so happy for her.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
That was
And
a
it was
lot of, that was a really cool thing to see her really come quite a ways from where she was. That was really a cool experience.
yeah, that was really great. So we're happy to see her. And but that probably was a great ward. Like we love that place. I remember Sister Dawson. She'd have us over sometimes, and we'd always have to do the dishes afterwards. And I
Yeah,
remember she were you ever over there? Or
I was we were over there. I think after you were there, which I have a funny story about that.
okay, I'll be happy there. But remember we were over there, and she'd always make us. That was with Pilkey though. I think Pilkey and I were over there. And Pilkey, he was a bit of a flirt. Like I think he was a for sure he was a and she'd have this what do you call it? She'd have this like kitchen what do you call it? Like a vest, like this, like an apron, like a kitchen apron.
Yeah,
And she'd always make us wear this little kitchen apron thing. And I think she bought me one when I left. I think I took one home with me, or took
Oh,
one with
wow.
me. she was, she was definitely awesome. But I want to hear that story.
Well, the funny thing is, so you remember when Conway left, I had Elder Littlefield, and Elder Littlefield and I were not small boys.
Yeah.
And I remember at one point she would purposely like pull you or Pilkey or Elder Barber came in after you aside and invite them to dinner without having us know. And then there was one time where she was like, okay, I'm going to invite them over. But she expressed to Elder Pilkington that she was concerned that she wouldn't have enough food to feed us because we were two big guys. And I was like, well, that's a little presumptive, but okay. And it was funny because I'm pretty sure Elder Littlefield, he loved his food, and he definitely we had to make sure that we were all on the same page. Like, hey, we're going in, and this is what she thinks of us. So let's not meet that expectation. But yeah, the Dawsons were awesome. Loved their family.
They were awesome. They were a family I still had some contact with after my mission.
Yeah,
I think one of the daughters, she went down to, I think, study down in London.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But yeah, they were great because I think we had like, I don't know, like during those 6 months that I served there, I think we must have been on like dozens and dozens of joint teachers with Sister Dawson. She was like all over the place with us, like visiting all kinds of people.
Yeah,
I
was
love that
wonderful.
boy.
She was wonderful.
Yeah, that was a great place. There was this other, I think, was it Charlie? There's this single guy. He lived like all the way out like west of the ward,
Mhm.
and no one ever visited him. But one time we went to visit him. I think that was Pilkey and I think we visited him, and he was like the best cook. Like he cooked us like really awesome, like a pasta dish for us with like bacon and vegetables in it, and it was like, dude, we were coming over all the time if it were like a 2-hour trip to come see you. But
That's funny.
But yeah, I remember like he was like this big. He was like all into books, and he was like telling us there's this new place called Amazon where you can buy all your books. And I wish I would have listened to him back then and bought some of their stock. He was like, yeah, they're gonna be great.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's crazy because that really was like the timeline when we were on our missions where Amazon got big and Facebook was introduced, and like all these things just kind of exploded and changed the dynamics of our world. It was weird.
Yeah, it was like it was a crazy time. I remember like these digital cameras came up.
That's right.
Yeah, everyone all of a sudden had digital cameras. I remember like some missionaries like saved all their money just to buy a digital camera, like me. Both of them. Not the brick of a camera. But yeah.
Yeah, Jack and I laughed because when I first came into the mission, I used to like fill the data cards and then mail them home, and my mom would print out the pictures, which I don't know why she had to print out all the pictures, but she did. And then she'd send it back, and I don't even remember. It couldn't have been more than like a gigabyte on this little teeny tiny disk. And now we have those that are just, terabytes. It's crazy how far the technology's come.
Dude, I think they were even smaller back then. I remember I saved so much money just so I can buy like this just like 256 megabyte card.
I think you're right.
Like super expensive back then, yeah.
It's crazy.
I was like so excited. Finally, now I can make like 500 pictures at once. It's like awesome.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, yeah, that phone was great. Like we're over at the Vickers.
Yeah.
And yeah, and you know all these stories with the Vickers, but they were great. But there was this other family, and because speaking of not having enough food or too much food, sometimes there was this family. I forgot what their names were, but I think they must have been in your area. They had this they had like this elementary age child that we would teach over at their house. They were like this family, and I forgot the name of it, but they had like their daughter had a friend who was like 10 or 12 or like 11 or something, and we'd teach her, and they'd always like feed us as well. And one time, and they would always feed us, like, every time they feed us the exact same meal. It was like this like sausage dish.
Mm-hmm.
And I It wasn't the greatest sausage. It was sometimes like we ate it, but it wasn't like we weren't looking forward to always having the same thing. And at that one time we couldn't make it, and so like we had like a different appointment, and they're like all the four elders over, and then was that with you guys? And then the other set, and maybe it was with Rasmus and Conway, and then they had to eat our portion as well. And they hated it because they had to like double these nasty sausages.
I don't remember that, so it must have been with Rasmussen.
Was it with Rasmussen? But yeah.
And while we were there together, remember we did the coal race?
Oh yes, we did the Colways. So I still have that. I still have that T-shirt. I still have that T-shirt.
You still have that?
I
Oh my
still have that
gosh.
somewhere. It's like somewhere deep down in one of my drawers because that was like Ella Pilkin. We had a picture and we put this picture on it.
Oh really?
Yeah, that was like our companionship because like it's like super. It's like only half the picture I think is left by now, but there's like a picture of the two of us on me.
Wow.
But it was like our companionship unified T-shirt. So I think I have that somewhere in my drawer. So.
Just gonna
But
show,
yeah, we did that
show a
Colways,
picture of it. This was us after the coal race.
Oh yes. Oh yeah, that was a good bunch, man.
It was a good day. I nearly died.
Elder Mace was there too.
It's right. Yeah, Elder Mace was there, Elder Bear, Elder Kellogg, Elder Jump. Yeah, they all came over from Edinburgh, I think, that day to do it with us, which I don't know. I don't even remember how they heard about it, but that was pretty fun.
It was like a big deal. Yeah. The only thing I remember is that bag of coal, it was heavy, dude. It was like so heavy. And I think at some point I was just like, I was on my mission. It's not like I did a lot of sports. Like I was like so out of shape. At some point I was just like, dude, why am I running with this heavy bag of coal forever? Like this is not very smart. Like why am I doing this? Like I think tomorrow I'm gonna be so sore I can't walk anymore.
Yeah.
And at some point I think I was like so slow. This truck came by and just like, dude, you look pathetic. Just like jump up and we're gonna give you a ride.
Jeez.
And I think I drove into the finishing line with on top of this truck.
I don't remember that. I was busy trying not to die. It was heavy. It was. I think we were talking with Elder Bear about it. He said it was like 10 stone or something like that. Which
yeah,
it was crazy. I couldn't believe how heavy that thing was, and then to run on top of it, which is not my forte. It was pretty intense.
But I think you were doing pretty good with it. And then 10 stone, how much is that? It's like 50 pounds.
Oh, 140 pounds.
140 pounds. That's why it was so heavy. And no wonder I was like thinking, why am I doing this?
Yeah. I mean, I remember getting to like the last stretch and my forearms gave out from holding the bag over my back. I just couldn't hold on anymore. And then I had to like pick it up like this, and it was not pleasant, but I got over the finish line. So
yeah. Well, you did better than I did. I guess I got over the finish line too. That's at the back of this truck.
That's fun.
Oh yeah, I loved our time in Dunfermline. Pilkey was great as well. You didn't have him on yet, did you?
Not yet. I'm working on him.
Yeah. I haven't talked to him in forever, but he was a fun companion. We had a good time. Really good time. And man, Conway, he was something else. I still have a picture somewhere of him sitting there with like this little Asda bag, and I think that was all he was wearing. Well, I was cutting his hair with my hair cutting machine. Yeah.
I don't know why he came out of the bathroom and he was wearing a carrier bag. I don't know how President Vriens heard about that, but I think it was the next zone conference he told us about. He told us all off. Oh my gosh.
Did he? And I think it must have, I think he must have worn that Asda bag more than once. Somehow I think this must have been something that he did multiple times.
He just didn't like hair getting in his garments, and that was his excuse.
Oh man, do you remember how we used to tickle him all the time?
Oh yeah,
like we'd like all like jump him, and then maybe tickle him to death, and he'd be like screaming and wiggling, and he'd have like super all of a sudden.
Yeah, he did. It was small man strength immediately.
But yeah, that was fun times. Yeah,
that was good times.
I love playing basketball, giant Jenga, and football in the apartment. That was fun.
Yeah, we did have a really good time.
It was how long were you there?
6 months.
6 months, just like me. So you were there for 3 months after me then too,
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
because I was there for 6 months as well. Or were we there for?
No, I think let's see. Because you were there for 2 of the transfers with
I had
when
two with Logie and two with Pilkington.
yeah, maybe I was there for 2 then. I thought you were there for longer than that.
I was
Because
I was six
I was
months.
with Conway for 6 weeks, and then I had Littlefield for 4.5 months. And I left when Pilkey left at the same time. Like we had parallel timelines. So yeah, I mean, I thought you were there longer. I want to say it was a little bit longer than that.
Was I there when Littlefield was there? Because somehow I don't remember Littlefield very much.
Yeah, I
But
have a picture of it. I'll show you right now.
but man, it's just so long ago. My memory is starting to get a little.
Pizza in the flat.
Oh yes, I do remember now. I do remember.
Because I mean, you had to have been there for at least 6 weeks when Littlefield was there.
Was that during the time when I would start cooking my ready burger meals on Thursdays?
Probably. I
I
think
was
so.
I was still proud. I was still telling my wife like, how well I cooked on my mission. I would get these like ready, like these beef like beef and pasta kind of dishes. And I was so
Mhm.
proud of myself that I was able to cook those. And I think you guys were always happy to eat them.
They were good. You were a great cook.
Was that except for that one time? I think we tried to do this like special sauce. Oh yeah, we tried to do this like really nice um, creamy sauce with bacon, and I totally burned it, and you guys still all ate it.
I remember that.
The bacon was good, but the sauce was horrible.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, I only had 6 weeks with Conway and then 4.5 months with Elder Littlefield. So you had to have been there for at least 7.5 months.
I thought it was just 6 because I was 4.5 months in all my areas except for Dunfermline. I thought it was 6.
I'm pretty sure it was 7.5 because if you were there with Loganberg for 2 transfers, then you had Pilco for
For
2
2, I thought
for 2. No, for 3.
for
It
3,
would have been, yeah.
maybe it must have.
Because I only got 6 weeks with Pilco and Elder Barber before I left, and I think they both left at the same time too. I think they brought sisters in after that.
Maybe it was because I wasn't that Dunfermline for a long time. I mean, it was great. I really loved it. It was a great area, and I thought
Yeah.
we were doing really well. I think during that time, I think I went on a joint teach with almost every single person that word,
Except for Brian.
except for Brian. Yes, well, Brian was he was yeah, and maybe even with Brian, I can't remember.
Oh, Brian.
Oh
Love that
man,
guy.
he was something else. But that was a fun time in that film. I loved playing basketball.
Yeah.
And I remember I think you were quite the, well, I guess maybe I was just that bad, but you were quite the good player.
I was just the American that was there. That's all.
And we were the Europeans that didn't really know how to play that.
No, we had fun. It was a good time.
Oh, we did. So after Dunfermline, then it was, yeah, that was almost at the end of my mission. I went, I then had 6 more weeks, just 6 more weeks left. I went to Paisley Zone, and I was in what's it called? Where all the golf courses are. Urban.
I didn't know that's where all the golf courses are.
Yeah, isn't it? Doesn't Trump have like a golf course there? There's like some really expensive Trump golf course like in Urban.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, they have like some major game there. But I served the last 6 weeks because I had to leave early for 6 weeks because university was about to start. University was going to start just a few weeks after, and in Germany, if you miss it, like you can miss out on like a full year. So I had to leave a few weeks early. so I'd make the university year. So I only had 6 weeks left, and I served again with Elder Bautista,
Oh, really?
but this time with him having no hair left. So first time around it was with him having a fro, and second time around it was like no hair left.
That's
But
amazing.
yeah, it was fun to be back. Like we had a good time first time around. Second time we were in a threesome though. We were together. There was another missionary with us. I forgot what his name though was. He was Elder. I think we had Elder Livingston with us for like a little bit because he was going home, and then we had this other elder with us for a while. And
Hmm.
I remember he would always like he would like take naps during the day. He would like take a nap, and sometime, although Tisa we get creative, we would start like decorating him when he take his nap. Like put like a Chiquita bananas on him, and then all the fruit we could find, and we'd decorate him, take pictures of him.
Jeez, it's pretty
But
funny.
that was great. Like urban area was fun. I think we had a car during that time. And we were all over the place. We were zone leaders. The only thing, man, the one thing I hated being a zone leader is like, although Batista and I, we already had this thing going from the first time. We had like 10 different types of cereal. We had like all the kind of food that you want to have in our apartment. And then you'd go out on an exchange. And I remember I don't know who I was with. I was with this one elder somewhere, uh, and I'd stay overnight because it was further away. And they had like I opened up the fridge, and and all they had was like one slice of bread. I think there was one slice of bread and maybe a slice of cheese, like, and maybe a slice of moldy cheese.
Oh
It
my
was like,
God.
dude, why am I here in this place? And like this other guy is like over in my apartment, like eating my different types of cereal, like all the meat that you can want, and I'm here like scrunch up this last little slice of bread.
Oh my gosh.
So those were experiences. But Irvin, yeah, I can't remember. I guess I was only there for 6 weeks, so it wasn't very long. But yeah, we were teaching. I think we were also teaching someone. But there was, I think these 6 weeks they went by pretty quick in Irvin. So, but yeah, there was a time, and it was already over faster than you can think.
Wow, that's amazing.
And
So does that mean you went home with Elder Hill in August?
yeah, I went and yeah, with Elder Hill. Yeah, that's right. I guess Elder Hill because he went home early, and also with Elder what's his name? Um, Elder Livingston. Yeah, he went
Okay.
he went home early too because I think he had to go to university or something.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, fun time.
That's great.
You had quite an adventure.
Oh, for sure. And there's a few things I had to skip over due to time constraints, but
It's all
yeah,
good.
I would say though it was really a great time. I think a lot of things where I'm at now, the things that I learned and achieved, I think a lot of it is I can trace back to my mission time, to the things that I've learned and the people I've met. Yeah. So it's been a great experience.
Yeah.
We always ask, you have any specific memories about President Sister Vriens you'd like to share?
Oh, for sure. I remember I went on a joint teach with President Vriens. Like I don't know how many of you got to go on a teach with President Vriens.
Nope.
I did. I think I think there was I think it was either in Edinburgh or when I was in that film. Like I felt I was already like fairly experienced. Like I felt like I was comfortable, doing teaching, and he came with me, and man, I was just like I was just like a baby again. Like we were teaching this person, and you could just tell like he was just someone. He was this really great person and this experienced guy, and I felt like, man, like I wanted, like, why can't I teach like this man? Like he was just like, you could tell that he was someone who who had a great love for the people and who was a really experienced teacher. And he like I learned a lot from that time when we went out on a joint teach. It was a great experience.
That's cool.
And
Yeah.
and Sister Vriens, I mean, we all have the same story with Sister Vriens with her piggy nose, and and every time she reminded us, please do not buy another vacuum. You already have 3 vacuums in your apartment. They're probably all just like clogged up with something. Just go check that out.
Jeez.
But you know, I remember that. I remember that when we did church cleaning at one time, the vacuum didn't work, and I was like, Sister, I could remember Sister Vriens telling me, just check the vacuum. It's probably just like clogged up. And I think more often, I think that one actually has been true. So every time the vacuum doesn't work, I still hear Sister Vriens in my head telling me to check the vacuum.
That's so good. Oh goodness. Oh,
That's great.
They were good. I saw them. I think a couple years later, at the Missionary Union. I think that was 2006.
oh wow.
They had a lot of people over at their cabin. So, yeah, that was good. So I'm very happy that you guys are doing this, and I listened to the episode where you had them on.
Yeah, that was a special treat.
Yeah,
It really was.
they're getting old too now.
Yes, indeed.
Well, Roman, anybody else you want to call out that we need to get on here we haven't had already?
Well, I think I called out a few, so definitely have to get
You
Elder
did.
Pilkington, sure. And
I'll keep working on him.
keep working. I'll see if I can reach out to him. One of his email address is still working. 'Cause, I think we're still Facebook friends. And Sister McConkey, I think you had her.
Yeah, she's on the schedule here in a few weeks, so you'll hear from Sister McConkey.
Yeah, and oh yeah, definitely Elder Drew. I already called him out. So I'm
Yeah.
still waiting for that one meal. I'd like to be invited over.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah, you guys are branching out now with like some of the later years as well, I see.
Well, I mean, it happens because I was there for quite a while after you went home, right? I mean, I went home in January of 07, and then I interacted with younger missionaries too. So the thing that we've realized is that the Scotland Edinburgh Mission has quite a reach, and we're trying to find that stopping point. But as Jack said in a previous episode, we're going to roll into a Scotland Ireland Mission podcast with some other elders doing that, so that we don't continue to sprawl too far. But our time frame has been pretty well covered with a lot of missionaries, but there's still a great amount of people we still want to talk to.
Well, I think it's great what you guys are doing. Like I've really enjoyed listening to them and start bringing back all these mission memories. And I've had my kids listen to some of them, like with my companions, and they love hearing the stories from their point of view. I think they laughed so much when they heard Elder Longberg tell the Jobby Cottage story, and when Elder Conway was on, they loved hearing him.
Yeah.
So it's been great, and I think it's been fun to relive those memories.
Thank you. We love having everybody on. Doing this has been awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to date us too much, but in a few months it'll be 20 years since you went to the MTC, Roman. It's pretty crazy.
I know, it's crazy. We're getting so old. I mean, you see how much gray hair I have. So, I mean,
you skipped over it, but Chris Mace told us about your companionship unifier of.
I know. He told it pretty well. He just left out. Remember, like we went to the Zone conference, and I don't know. We talked to someone. They're like, guys, you guys look different today. And we're like, I don't know what you're talking about. You look just exactly the same as always. It's like something different about you. Like, yeah, we're just happy companions.
I just thought it was funny that Chris had pictures he sent home to his mom. His mom's like, "What have you done with your hair?"
It was like because we left it in way too long. Like we were, I think you're only supposed to leave it in for like 5 minutes, but we didn't know how that stuff works. So we were like after like 1 hour of talking, because I think we were over at the other missionary's apartment before his own conference, and we were just like all chatting and didn't pay attention. And then at some point, Chris looks at the package. He's like, "Dude, you're supposed to like wash this out after 10 minutes."
Jeez Louise. Oh gosh, that's funny.
Yeah. Oh, that was fun. Like so many fun stories.
Roman, it's been so much fun to have you on. Man, I've been looking forward to catching up with you for such a long time. We had so many good times in Dunfermline together. So thanks for coming on.
Well, thanks for having me. I wish we could yeah, chat about a little more about old times. I'd love to hear some more of your stories too.
I gotta find my first half of my mission journal so I can reminisce on some of those things, because I'm sure I wrote a lot of it down. I cannot find it. It's driving me crazy. So, but we'll get there. I'm sure you'll hear more of those stories in the future for sure.
Sure will.
All right, Roman. We love you.
Yeah, we love you, brother. Thanks again.
Hey, you guys. Take care.
Cheerio.
Cheerio.